So hey everyone, just catching you up on what's going on lately in my world. We have had a infestation of German cockroaches, which I did not know that was a thing. I mean, we've had cockroaches before. This is Texas. You get cockroaches, but apparently, when I was moving some stuff to try and clean a bookshelf, I saw all these little bugs go scurrying, and because I didn't know that they were there until they started moving, so I just decided that in order to try and get rid of them, I needed to clean off this bookshelf and hopefully save my books, and kind of led to a whole sequence of events, because eventually I talked to my mom and she told me that these were German cockroaches, and apparently they're very tricky to kill. It's like, I think we've made some progress, but we tried bombing the house. We have some sort of gel, and I've been advised to get some sort of spray that's supposed to kill them, or at the very least hopefully keep them from spreading, because what I think I'm going to do for now is use the gel in the area where I see them. Hopefully it'll cause them to eat it and spread it to the rest of the nest, and the spray will keep them from going anywhere else, and eventually they will be all gone. But I'm going to move some stuff around the house, but on the plus side, it's kind of made me want to consolidate a little bit and clear out some things that I've been holding on to for a long time. Some of which, I guess, maybe it's just because I didn't want to put in the effort to clean them, or maybe it's just because sometimes it's hard for me to get rid of certain things. I tend to keep things that, I take very good care of my things. Most of you guys probably know that. But it's like, for example, if I like buying books, I like keeping books, but I also tend to not reread them a whole lot, and it resulted in a lot of these books that I've just added to the shelf. Now, thank goodness for my e-reader and for Steam, which have allowed me to digitally purchase things which don't actually add any physical stuff to my space, but I can still enjoy the content. Now, this doesn't mean that I will never buy physical books again, but it also does mean that I need to be a little bit more circumspect about my collection. Now, one of the things that has kind of resulted from that is that I've gotten rid of a lot of things that I have let stand, messes in the house, piles, things. We started putting things in front of other things on bookshelves, and that's a problem. That's part of why this happened, because there's stuff in front of the bookshelves, then you don't move the stuff on the bookshelves. And truth be told, what I need to do is like twice a year just empty out every bookcase, clean it, and put the stuff back on, and maybe go through my collection and curate what no longer matters to me and what is really still important. Because it's like, I have a couple of movies that I probably haven't touched in years. I mean, part of it is because stuff's in front of it, so I don't see them, I don't remember that they're there, and I don't have the inclination to watch it. So I'm trying to be better about that. Part of it is getting rid of some things that I clearly know I'll never wear. Books that I'm not going to read again. It's like, I have some very good condition novels that I just know I'll never read them again. It's like, some of them are, it's like I have the book for Wicked, the one that the musical was based off of. I remember reading it, but I don't remember anything about it. It's like there's some Heinlein books and some Asimovs that I read when I was in my phase of trying to read some of the classic sci-fi authors. And they were good books. I enjoyed them, but I just don't feel the need to keep them. The Star Trek books, a lot of them I do want to keep because they mean things to me. They were good books, and I kind of remember the plot lines. But, some of the metrics I'm trying to use is like, if I don't remember this book that much, if I don't really remember the plot or it having significance, it's like, maybe this Star Trek book doesn't need to be kept. It's like, not all the Star Trek books are important. Some of them I may offer to people if that's enough, if that's something that people would be interested in. It's like, I'm looking at the Star Trek Picard Stargazer series. It was about 6 books of Star Trek Stargazer. And it's like, I remember reading them, I remember enjoying them, but if I had to pare it down, these are ones I think I could let go. There's a couple that I think were Badlands books. Maybe there's an old novel called Vendetta, which I think had something to do with the Borg and the Planet Killers. And of course, back in the day, I would devour anything Star Trek, and especially anything to do with the Borg, because the Borg were one of my favorite villains, and they still are. But also, it was one of those things that I just never thought made a whole lot of sense. It's like the Borg and the Planet Killers, and it just, I don't know. But anyway, I'm kind of going through a lot of stuff in my house with that kind of critical eye, and try to make space for the stuff that is important to me. It's like, I've kind of identified what I want in my bedroom now. It's like I need to get rid of a bookcase that's in here that's kind of broken and replace it with something that will I think provide some storage space for my old video games that I think will keep them more accessible to me, things like that. And in the long run, I think it'll be good. I think it'll be good for me. I think it'll be good for the house because, I suppose some of it is just like you don't want to get rid of stuff just in case you might want them someday. Part of it is historical. It's like I have a bunch of con books that I'm debating on whether or not I should keep them, whether I should toss them. It's like I don't know if there's anybody in the fandom that does any kind of like archive thing. It's like maybe it's like a foundation or something. I don't know if there's anybody in furry does keeping track of our history of the con books and all the things that used to just for that. I mean, I don't know if there'd be even any interest in any kind of furry museum, but it's like I also hate to throw away these con books that I've been collecting for 20 years. But what else? It's you tend to just, I guess, maybe just kind of not notice when you start collecting like a huge amount of things. And part of it also is COVID has changed a lot. I used to be very heavily into fursuiting. I still appreciate fursuiting. I'm still a fursuiter. But and there's also a topic I'll broach later about the fursuits. But it was kind of like it used to be. It used to be a priority for me to have a bunch of suits, of my characters, and some of them I don't fit right now. Some of them I think I don't fit in terms of headspace, and there's some things that I just don't know. But I'm kind of working through it, among other things, and I'm trying to sort of go through the process and decide, what's important, what I need to keep, what I can afford to give up, and what I really want going forward. What's going to matter to me in like 10, 20 years, that sort of thing. But that's the big bit of news right now. In writing news, I have been working on the latest chapter of Winterfall 2. I want to say that it's been going a little bit unpredictably. I mean, some of it's been smoother, some of it's been less smooth. Part of the issue is that the last chapter and this chapter have sort of been predicated by the worst hit of anxiety and depression I've had this year, which started when I started thinking about, I started making myself sad, thinking about the past, thinking about the future, and, just kind of reminding myself that I need to focus on the present. And also, I mean, not that the future and the past aren't important, it's all important, but thinking about a future that may not necessarily be super rosy doesn't help anyone, because it might be, it might not. I don't know what my life is going to be like in 50 years. Goodness willing, I'll still be here, but who knows? It's like I don't know. I don't know if I'll still be in Texas. I don't know. I hadn't originally planned to be here for 17 years. It's like I had never planned to move to Texas, and I've been here for a while, and things are really good right now. It's like my house is good, my partner is okay. Obviously his health could be better, but it's mostly he just would. I think we would like his vision to be better and other things. But I mean, I don't know. My job is generally good right now. I have a really good relationship with my boss and my coworkers, and for the most part, I've been in good shape, and I kind of want to keep it that way. And part of that is just this, getting organized, cleaning, trying to make things nicer and keep them in good shape, and focus on the important things, and making space for the things that I use, that matter to me, that are important. And let's see, and I think I went off on a tangent there. I was supposed to be talking about writing, wasn't I? Oh yeah. But anyway, insofar as the writing has been going, I've been making progress. I am working on a chapter that I think will turn out to be good. It's been a little bit slow going, slower than I would like it to be, but it's progress, and I think it's going okay. I'm at the third act is always tricky for me, because I'm trying to make sure that it maintains that standard of what I've had so far, and the third act is usually the most problematic. I mean, some of the notes that I have, will still fit, but it's like something I'm kind of tweaking based on the feel I have at the time with where the story is. And overall, I'd say it's going well. I still have high hopes of finishing Winterfall 2 by the end of the year at the latest. I don't know if I'm going to finish any sooner at the rate I'm going. I don't know. I was kind of hoping to be able to finish a couple of sub-projects by the end of the year as well, but some days I've been going slower than I anticipated, and I've been just trying to maintain the good progress, the good vibes that have been carrying me through a lot of this year. And hopefully, I mean, on the one hand, hitting the giant reset button and reevaluating all of my current projects kind of has worked to a certain benefit because it stresses me out less of focusing on so many different projects at a time. So I'm kind of just concentrating on one or two, or really three big things, I guess. It's like a three-phase project. It's like one's in the publishing phase, one's in the writing phase, and one's in the pre-production phase. And I think that's how TV does it, and I think it's how a lot of other things do it, and I think it's hopefully going to work for me. A little bit of time spent planning my next story, a little bit of time working on this story, a little bit of time finishing up the last story, and hopefully to result in a cycle. And I may, depending on if I'm brave enough, try and get an artist alley table at TFF and start doing that on a regular basis, and maybe go back to that con. We skipped last year for a few reasons. It seemed like an appropriate move for us, but it's also two things. It's a close con to me. It is a relatively familiar con, and it's also a place where I know a couple of other fellow writers will be. And also it is in state, because to tell you the truth, I'm a little scared about going out of state to sell books. I don't know. Maybe that's not that hard as I think it is, but I kind of need to step outside of my comfort zone a little bit and try these things. And, hopefully I can do that, do the thing that scares you. But as far as the immediate plan for now, it's like I'm still going to try and stay focused on Winterfall 2 and see if I can't finish that. And when I do, I would like to try and switch to another project. I want to try and finish the Werewolf anthology and the little project I had for the alternate story of Roswell for what happened, because I almost finished it, and I think I need to make a few edits, but it's mostly completed. So these two things that are almost done, I really just need to push them over the finish line, get them published, get them out, and then I can work on my next big project. And I think it'll give me enough time to hopefully come up with a plan that I'm satisfied with, because finding a plot, a setup that just works for me has been the challenge. And I know it's doable, and I want to do a lot of these stories that I've had in my head for a long time, some of which I have some pretty solid skeletons, some of which I think will need updates based on my current style. But I think in the long run, hopefully it'll be good, and hopefully I'll be able to finish them while I'm still inclined to do so. Let's see, video news. I think today is going to be a little bit of a light day. I don't know exactly what I'm going to be doing just yet. I need to see where I am. I need to write it on my board. I need to do a better job of tracking where I am with my video work, and a better job of tracking some other things as well. But for right now, today is probably going to be a light day. My next video recording session is going to be, I will be away at ACFI for the weekend, so it'll probably be collecting con footage rather than filming anything new. But that's okay. That's all good stuff, I think. It'll be a new con for us, and so we'll see how that goes. This is a con we've never been to before. Let's see. But, I don't know. I mean, Strag may or may not bring a suit. I know I'll probably just bring one. And we will see how things go. But one thing at a time. And let's see, on to books I am reading. I am still finishing up Star Trek Discovery, Somewhere to Belong. It's gotten better in my estimation. I'm starting to like it a little bit more. But I don't know what I'm going to do when I finish it. I'm probably going to try and finish the other one I started, Accidental War. And then after that, I think I'm going to dive into one of the books that I have on my little stack here. I know I bought a furry book that I don't know anything about. I've never read this author before, but The idea kind of sounds like it could be interesting, so we'll see. I still need to read the rest of RVA. I'm not sure how much is left after 5 and 6. I know there's some short stories and some other stuff, but we'll see. I did read Stuck in the Middle with You, which was after most of what I read, I think. But I had enough background to get the concepts because I've read the prerequisites. I've read the first 4, um, and I'll provide a more specific review. It probably won't be in Fursuit because I'm going for a light day today, but I also kind of want it to be, quick, intimate, because it's a short story, so it's probably not going to be as involved as my usual reviews. But of course, it was very enjoyable, and I'll say a couple of good things about it in my review. I'll probably do a little written one as well. But just like most of the others, it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it, and thank you, Royce, for writing it, because it's one of those cases where it's always a delight to dip into your universe with your characters, and it's really really fun for me. So it helps a lot. Um, Now, I guess the last thing to discuss for right now is fursuits. Um, I've been thinking a lot about where I am with my fursuits right now. And I mean, I was thinking about, I've been thinking about Lauren 2.0 for a while. I'd been contemplating whether or not I wanted like a partial from Magpie Bones. I've been thinking about, if what characters I could get suits of, and I mean, I don't know. It's like I think most people probably, there's a lot of furries that don't have any suits. There's a lot of furries that just have one. There's some that have like a handful, and then there's some that have like these massive collections. I saw one person whose display was pretty freaking impressive. I took a picture of it. So it was like this rack or something that has like 4 fursuits, kind of lined up like Iron Man or Batman costumes, and it was just like, wow. I wish I had the space to do that. Um, but I have right now, I think 7. Technically 7.5 because I have a light version of Lauren, a heavy version of Lauren. I have Topaz, I have Rowan, I have Anna, I have Lexi, I have Elephant Lauren, and did I mention Rowan already? I might have. Uh, Long story short, I have about 7 suits, and I kind of think that I might want to pare that down to about 4 because, to tell you the truth, I don't suit randomly around the house as much as I used to. I don't have a lot of good places to film in the house, and the majority of where I wear them is at conventions. And now, obviously, COVID kind of changed my focus a little bit. Well, it had changed a little bit before COVID as well, but COVID certainly altered things. Um, let's see. Well, we used to do 3 FurCons a year, which was important to me at the time, but also I think I kind of just have reached the point where things have changed a little bit, and I do still want to go to furry cons. Furry is still a very important part of my life. It's a very important part. It's one of the few chances I get to see some friends. Unfortunately, I don't get to see some of them as much as I used to because some of the cons that we go to, we don't hit the same ones. But a couple of things that I would like to try and do is sort of work a little bit back into that and see if I can find a happy balance. But I'd like to do ACFI and maybe make that a regular furry con because small cons seem to fit us well. I would like to try and maybe do TFF as a regular selling con and maybe take a suit there just to do a little casual late night suiting, that sort of thing. And obviously, as you know, we do Star Trek cons lately because it's really kind of when I had the ability to do that in 2018. I really kind of wanted to do it again and a lot more, and it made me really reevaluate things. Because 2019 we chose not to go because BronyCon was that year, and it was going to be the last con, so we thought it was important to go to BronyCon. And not that I regret going. I kind of wish I'd transitioned before I went, so that some of those pictures could have been Lauren and instead of old me. But it was a good experience. It was a good con, a little bittersweet because it was the last one. You could tell on the last day they were trying to close the books, as they say. I kind of really wish that BronyCon was still going, just because I think that as the largest con, I think that it would still be good. I know there's still PonyCons going, and I think they're kind of moving on to Generation 5, and they still have some G4 and stuff. But, I mean, the odds are I may not ever have the opportunity to redo a lot of the photos that I had taken with the pony actors, and, such, I guess, is life if that's the case. But, I've been, it's been going well, trying to collect pictures of myself and Strag with the Star Trek actors because, Star Trek was my first love. It really was. And I was a fan of Star Trek from when I was a kid. From when I was 5 years old, my parents introduced me to this show, and I have been following it and enjoying it every week of my life for the rest, since I was 5. And, meeting all these actors and seeing the new shows and getting to interact with them, it's really been a special thing for me to do every year. And I think it's something that I'd like to keep doing because it really does mean a lot to me. As long as that, I really want to do it while I have the opportunity, because as we all know, we never know how many years we'll get on the earth and how long our chances will be to meet some of these people. So I would like to do that while the opportunity exists. And, not to sound all melancholy, but to get back on the concept of the fursuits, it's like I'm trying to think about what I can keep and what I want to get rid of, or at least try and see if anybody else can make use of them, because, it makes me sad to think of throwing some of this stuff in the trash. One of them I will, just because it's a generic fursuit from years ago that I hardly ever wear, and I just really don't need the space. I need the space, I don't need the suit. It's like I don't think I'm going to miss it when it's gone. I'll probably, take a look at it one more time, but I just think it takes up too much space. I don't need the suit, I do need the space, and so that's really all there is to it. The rest, it's a little bit more difficult because they're my personal characters. A lot of these suits, they mean something to me because it's like Lauren is my baby. Topaz is important to me. She's one of the characters that I just kind of invented that sort of ended up being paired with Lauren a lot, and it's like she has been one of those suits that I've really enjoyed, and I will continue to enjoy because she still fits, she still feels good, and she's important. Some of the rest, I'll be honest. It's like Elephant Lauren. I mean, she's another version of me. I kind of thought it would be fun to have like 2 different versions of Lauren because, as Lauren being my main character, she tended to get TF'd a lot. And I don't know. I mean, I've looked at some of the pictures. I remember wearing it. I've worn it to a couple of cons. But by and large, I'm not that emotionally attached to it, even though it's a version of my character. And I think I would be able to sell the suit and not feel too possessive of it. I mean, I would probably prefer the person obviously change the name and maybe individualize it somehow, but it's like it's a good suit. Part of the problem is that the material that the body's made of is very light, which I kind of wish they'd used a heavier duty fur, but other than that, I mean, it's an okay suit. It's a good suit, I guess. It's I'm short, so I'm 5'5". I don't know. I can't provide a lot of measurements because I don't really recall what they were. But I don't know. But if I can if somebody else can make use of it and get a fursuit for a couple $100 or something, I mean, I don't know, like 500-700 maybe might be my initial ballpark target because I would like to get some money for it, but I don't want to sell it. I don't want to price it too expensive because you could get a new suit for whatever, but I also don't want to price it too cheap either if I were to sell it, because it would be like maybe somewhere between 5 to 7 would be my thought for some of these older suits. As far as Rowan, I think I would maybe be able to sell the head. I don't think I'd want to sell the body. The body, to tell you the truth, I don't know. It's like I've tried keeping it, I mean, the outside's very clean. The inside kind of looks like dried glue or something. I don't know. There's just some sort of something that has made it sort of unpleasant to wear-ish in recent years. And even when she's still fit, I didn't wear her that often. Part of the reason was because she was somewhat difficult to transport. The head was kind of big, and it was tricky to find space in my luggage to take her and other suits, and I usually try to take 2 or 3 suits at a time. But as far as if I was to, I mean, if the head's still in good condition, I would be able to see selling the head, and maybe somebody could commission a body, and then you'd have a new suit. And I mean, the Rowan suit is very pretty, but the identifying parts are the body, because I gave her a unique cow pattern arm and leg, and the rest of her is just a brown cow. And I don't think that if you took it and put it somewhere else that you would say, oh yeah, that's Rowan. I mean, obviously you would have seen it with me, obviously, because I'm the only one that's ever worn it. But I think it would be, I hate to say generic, but I think it would be not distinguishable enough that it couldn't be made somebody else's own. So, I'm thinking about Elephant Lauren, and I'm thinking about Rowan. It's like, I know I want to keep Lauren and Topaz. Those are not even in consideration. I probably will keep Lexi because she's light. She doesn't take a lot of space, and she's comfortable. And as far as Anna and Kate, that's going to require some more thought, because to tell you the truth, Kate kind of didn't turn out, I guess, exactly like I'd hoped. I mean, it looks like it's a good suit. I'd kind of hoping it would be a little bit sexier, but to tell you the truth, it was the best, I guess, about as good as one could get. I mean, we can't always duplicate in costume what we see in art, and I realize that, and I don't hold the maker responsible or anything like that. But also, I mean, I don't know. It's like, if it's one of the suits that it was a matter of keeping or moving on from, possibly I could see it in terms of moving on from the suit. The character is, of course, still mine. I mean, I love the character. I'm going to keep the character. I have a lot of plans for the character. At least 2 books, theoretically. And as far as Anna, Anna was always kind of like a little bit of an afterthought. I think I commissioned the head from Scribble Fox, and I commissioned the body from Darkstone Realms, which is a company that no longer exists. And I kind of always was looking for a place to put her. She used to be part of a series that no longer exists, and then I adapted her to the Werewolf series, and I think she's in Blue Moon somewhere. Maybe not the first one, but I know she has a part in the second and third. But I mean, as far as having her as a suit, I don't know. Now, Scribble Fox heads are in good condition. It's like they last forever, and I think she's in good shape. And it's a red-headed wolf. The bodysuit I don't think is worth anything. I mean, I might potentially offer it if somebody was interested, but I also don't think so. I think it might be a head only. But I think in the long run, what I would possibly like to do is just pare it down to 4 suits. And ideally what I would think I would like to keep is I would like to keep Lauren, I would like to keep Topaz, I would like to keep Lexi, and maybe commission a Magpie Bones partial Logan, or possibly Ellie, or maybe Diana, my Doberman girl. But we'll see. That's all kind of thoughts for probably next year at the soonest, because I don't have the opportunity to save money right now for a suit, or at least not right now, and Star Trek Con kind of takes away a lot of that, and the car payment kind of takes a lot of that, and it would be something that I would have to think about a good deal to select a maker and get on their timeline and get all that set up, and all that takes time. So it's not something that's going to happen really quick, but this is all stuff that I think over the next year is probably going to be things I'm going to try to do, because we're going to talk about it with Shrag, talk it over, see what he thinks, and see where that takes us. But I've been talking for almost 30 minutes now, so I mean, I guess I will wrap up this vlog, and I will catch you all later.
If you like werewolves, check out my book Blue Moon, available in paperback and ebook on Amazon.
Thanks for watching, and if you liked it, click the subscribe button and leave a comment below. You can also find me on Twitter and a few other places on the web, or support me via Patreon or Ko-fi. Zebra hugs!